So, yeah, the three teams, like I said before, Norwich, Watford, and Brentford. So, we'll review the last season performance, the key players, and then the new signings as well. So, we start with Norwich. First things first, Norwich. I think,
Yeah, I
like
think
we
Norwich.
all know, yeah, Norwich. We already have an idea about Norwich because they were
Yeah,
they were in the league 2 seasons ago.
yeah, yeah.
So
We have a good idea about them. But the team has changed a little bit, and they have lost their talisman now because, of course, Pookie is the
when
one
they are, yeah,
who scored the goals last season and season before last, and even the season before they came into the Premier League. But Buendia, I think he was their talisman last season. He was the one doing everything, scoring goals, assisting. Of course, only Pookie has scored more goals than him. With he scored 15 goals Buendia, and now they lost him to Everton, and they not Everton. I'm sorry. They lost him to Aston Villa,
Aston Villa, yeah.
and also they had midfielder. Last season it was Buendia and Skip. Skip was playing in midfield. He was on loan from Tottenham. He had a very good season for them. He was their like a holding midfielder. Now Tottenham, he's back at Tottenham, but he is replaced with another very good midfielder in Gilmore from Chelsea on loan. With Buendia, they replace him with not a spectacular move, but like what is his name, a player from the Bundesliga, who we will get to when we look at Norwich in details. But if you look at them, their home form was and their away form was pretty similar. They got like 49 points at home and 48 points at home, 49 points away from home. They scored a lot of goals, 75 goals, which is expected in the championship. But yeah, they still have Pookie. Pookie, I think when he came to the Premier League, he was really on fire in the initial stages, but then he tailed off as the season progressed. But yeah, I think they are a 1 year experience, like a year more experience now. So maybe they might come into the Premier League with a different attitude this time. Because when they came last time, they were a bit naive, in my opinion. They tried to play like they played in the championship, like playing and attacking football against bigger teams and stuff like that, which didn't favor them. Of course, they won some impressive. They had some impressive wins along the way, like the 3-1 they won against Manchester City. So, but um, they are coming back. The team is worse than the team that came, in my opinion, but they are more experienced now. So I'm not expecting much. I think of the three teams that is promoted, I think even though Norwich were the team that win the championship, they were the best team in the league. I see them as the most likely team to go straight down again, in my opinion, with all these good points that I give them, in my opinion.
I think for me, when they came into the Premier League, they were exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the ultimate letdown was that they were not prepared for the Premier League in the sense that when you're coming to the Premier League, you know that you are playing difficult games and you're playing teams. It's going to take you a few games, 2 or 3 games, before teams start figuring you out.
Yeah.
And once they figure you out, one, number two is also injuries. You should have a big enough squad that you can also like you can play this full season with a solid team. The problem with them is that they had a very small team when they came to the Premier League, and once they start having injuries, because most of their players were like really aging players, the French players,
Mm-hmm.
and they were expected to have injuries. Like I think their keeper, their sorry, their defender, I forgot the names, and a
Hanali.
midfielder. Yeah, so they had a lot of injuries towards the end of the season, where the business end of the season, where the Premier League you're supposed to solidify your position for the next season. They couldn't do that. So at early during the second half of the season, they already accepted that they were going to go down. So they were already in the mindset of the championship mentality. So now, if they don't um, improve the team, like have enough signings, enough numbers in the squad for rotation or when there's injuries, I think they're going to go back down again.
Yeah.
They were an exciting team to watch, obviously, but I still see the same players. Buendia has left, who was their most influential player. Cantwell is still there.
Yeah.
I was expecting that Cantwell will move to a Premiership team. He wouldn't go down with them, but apparently, maybe most of the teams didn't think that he was as exciting as he looked.
Yeah.
Pookie is there, but Pookie is not young anymore, and they still have Pookie as their main striker.
Yeah, but
They're
he's not so
supposed,
old. 31.
but he looks old, man.
Yeah, he looks old, but he's not. Yeah, I
he,
know his
he
appearance
looks,
is not. He
yeah, he
does not
looks
look so
old, but
good.
then at some point during the season when they came, he was exhausted. You can tell the energy wasn't there anymore. So you need competition, especially you can't have one striker in the team. there's hard to be competition, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they've done well. They've come right back into the Premier League. That means that they did well, obviously, in the championship.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty impressed. Pookie scored 26 goals, but this is the Premier League, man. You know, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Things are gonna be difficult. Okay, so next we have Watford. This is also another team that was relegated in the same season as
Yeah.
Norwich. So yeah, they're also coming back. Um, they have 59 points, 59 points at home and 32 points away, and they scored almost like 63 goals compared to Watford's Norwich 75 goals. Again, the main players like Sar, they have a new player, Sen. I think you can speak more about this. I don't really know their players, but I know about Sar and the main striker. What's his name again?
Dini.
Sorry,
What do you mean, Dini?
Dini. Do they have any new players that we don't know about that are exciting
Yeah,
to watch apart from Sar?
we will get to that. I think yeah, I think we will focus on the teams a little bit more when we go to Norwich. Their new signings and their key players from last season. But yeah, looking at
Okay.
their numbers, win ratio and points home and away, they were a team that was kind of very dominant at home, 59 points, almost doubling their home points compared to their away form. I think last season was a season where home and away was out of the window, but Watford was a team that kind of showed that their home form was very important. They had more home points than any of these teams that is promoted with 59, but also they have the least points when it comes to away pool. They only won 3 games away from home compared to 19 at home. So they are looking like a team that could be trusted at home. But in my view, with the Premier League being a different ball game, and Norwich, Watford being a team that kind of rely a bit on counter attack, because when they came to the Premier League last time, the games that they won, like for example, the one they won against Liverpool, it was basically a counter attacking game that they almost killed Liverpool in the game. So with Sar's outlet, I think they will expect teams to be better than them in the Premier League. So they will not even want to dominate games and stuff like that. So they will rely heavily on counter attack. So for that reason, I see them being a better team away from home coming into the Premier League instead of being a better team at home. Because even if they are at home, they don't expect to dominate games. So, but away from home, if teams dominate them, they can always beat them on the counter, and this could be a very huge weapon. That's why I think Sarr could have a even more impactful season in the Premier League than he had in the Championship last season. Because I expect Norwich to be a very attacking team. Defensively, they are very solid. If you see, they were the better defensive team than any of the teams. They kept 23 clean
20
sheets.
goals.
23 clean sheets compared to the other teams. They don't score a lot of goals, but they keep a lot of clean sheets and they shut out a lot. So that's why I am backing them more away from home to be a more counter-attacking team that could beat teams on the counter and things like that, which makes Sarr a very enticing player for me, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's talking about Sar, but okay. Yeah, everybody's talking about Sar. Yeah, I think they're expecting really big things from him, but obviously they are a promoted team, so you don't really expect you don't really expect much from a team that is promoted. Especially we know about Watford. It's not like they're a new team, anyways. But
but they have a very good manager. They have a very solid defensive team. So I think it's a better team than the team that came to the Premier League. Yeah. So, but the most exciting one, I think it has to be Brentford, because of Tony, because of Mbuemo. You know, those names, we hear them every day on social media, and they are kind of a very exciting team. They are a team that likes to attack. So I was listening to the Wire podcast, FPL Wire, and there was this guy who came to the podcast. He was talking about these 3 teams, and what he'd say was that if any team is gonna be similar to Leeds, it's gonna be Brentford. They are gonna come and play their football. They are gonna come and attack, and then they are gonna leave a lot of gap in their defense because they don't want to change the way they play, just like Leeds did last season.
Which is going to affect them, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to affect them, but it's going to be nice for FPL. We can expect goals from them, but we can expect them to concede a lot of goals. So they could be a team to target when it comes to attacking returns if you have an attacking player playing against them for captaincy and stuff like that. But attacking wise, we expect them to score a lot of goals. And with Tony being their striker who scores almost everything and makes, like you can see, he was their top scorer, he was their top assist maker with
Assist, yeah.
31 goals and 10 assists, 41 attacking returns over the course of the season. So yeah, I think they could be targeted for attack wise, but defensive wise, I don't think it's a team that we should be looking at. In terms of defense, I think Watford is going to be the one we should be looking at, and with Norwich, I'm not expecting much from them, to be honest. And with the start they have, the fixtures they have at the start, I don't see anything good coming out of that for Norwich.
They can spring a few surprises like they did when they were in the league 2 seasons ago. But like you said, I'm also not expecting much from them now that Wendy has left the team.
Yeah.
So yeah. So moving on.
Let's look at Norwich in detail. They are key players from last season, and they are new signings. Like we say, Pukki was their key player, of course. He was their leading goal scorer with 26 goals, and he also had 4 assists over the course of the season. Cantwell, yeah, we know him from the Premier League. He did not have he should have set the league like Buendia did, like with 10 goals plus, but he only had 6 goals and 6 assists. Maybe he is more suited to the Premier League than the Championship. You know, this type of players happen. Even though the Championship is a smaller league, but he might be more suited because of maybe he has more space to play behind defense in the Premier League than in the Championship, because teams will sit back more. Similar to Sarr. I think Sarr is more suited to the Premier League, just like I said earlier. And Aarons, their right back, he was ever present, 45 games out of 46. That was exceptional to play 45 games in that brutal season. But he only had 4 attacking returns, 2 goals and 2 assists, which is not much for a fullback. If you are looking at the Norwich fullback who you expect to concede a lot of goals, and it's not giving you this number of the many assists. And then we have the goalkeeper Kurul. He had 17 clearances over the course of the season and an 80% save percentage. So we expect Norwich to concede a lot of chances this season. So if he can maintain this percentage ratio of saves, then he could be a very good goalkeeper for save points. I don't know about the clean sheet wise, but for save points, he could be a very interesting one. How about the new signings? Do you see anything enticing there? Rashika is the one who is supposed to replace Buendia. He came from Bremen. He only had 3 goals and 2 assists in Bremen last season, but he is also a player that I had good things about. I've never seen him or watched him, but I have heard that he's a very good player. Just had a very poor season last season.
At 4.0, if he's guaranteed to play every game, I think that's a very good bench for that to have. Yeah, it's better to have a bench.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. It should be about 5.5 million. Gilmore is
okay.
4.5 million. Yeah.
I was like, okay, if it costs that much, he's going to be in every team. I guarantee you that. Because obviously, if he's going to replace Buendia, that means he's guaranteed to play each and every game. But also, it's a new league for him. So Gilmore is more of a defensive type of player. I don't think he has much contributions at attacking when it comes to attack. But he might be a very good player for them. This is time for him to blood, like outside of FPL, obviously. This is time for him to get his experience. But yeah, I see the same players, man, for Norwich. I don't see any new different player or anything. It's the same Pukki, Cantwell, Aarons, crew. So, and now minus Buendia. But anyways, for now, I think I'm just gonna sit back and watch and see if anybody impresses. Let's hope that the Pukki Party 2.0 is up and running again.
Exactly.
The Pukki Party. Okay. So yeah. Moving on to Watford, yeah.
Yeah. They did not score a lot of goals last season, but a lot of players were involved in their goals last season. Like when I was looking at their numbers, Sarr, of course, is the standout one. He had 13 goals and 4 assists, but most of these goals came in the second half of the season. I think he scored 8 goals in the last 10 games of the season, and this kind of coincided with their new manager, because they had a new manager around midpoint of the season, and Sarr kind of picked up his form in the second half of the season. But also, I understand that he was a player of interest for Liverpool, and Liverpool were very keen on signing him before they signed Jota, but Watford were playing hardball for Liverpool for him. So I think that kind of affected his performance in the first half of the season. That's why he did not really perform. But in the second half of the season, like I say, when he put his head down, he was one of their best players. He was one of the best players in the league, and he helped them come up. And with his pace, like I say, his pace is scary. He won 5 penalties last season because of his pace. And watching him yesterday too, he won a penalty. I think he has won 2 penalties in preseason already. So he's a player who will win penalties. He takes penalties, and he plays as a striker sometimes. At 6 million for a midfielder, I think Sarr is an exceptional player to target. There are the other midfielder that is very interesting is João Pedro. He's a young Brazilian guy. He's just 19 years old, but he was really good for them last season with 9 goals and 2 assists. So he could be a player that could come to the Premier League and also cause some surprises there. Dini was mostly injured last season. I think made another mistake here. 45 games. He did not start 45 games. Sorry. And their goalkeeper, Batman, who started playing also in the second half of the season when the new manager came in. I think what's the other goalkeeper there? Foster. He was injured, and then Batman was the number one for the second half of the season, and then he kept 13 clean sheets in 23 games. So that is a very impressive record with 76.1 save percentage. We expect Watford will be conceding a few chances. So if he can maintain this high percentage, because these are the percentages that the Premier League goalkeepers that they have, like 76. But of course, the quality of finishing is different in the Premier League when compared to the
Definitely.
So, but he's a very, very good goalkeeper. He had a very good Euros with Austria. He was the Austrian goalkeeper in the Euros. I think Austria did really well. They were unlucky to miss out to this in the quarterfinals against Italy. I think they played a very good game against Italy and missed out. I think they lost that game 2-1. But he had a very impressive Euros. So he could be a very good goalkeeper at 4.5 million, because you are looking for a 4.5 million goalkeeper. Batman is the one that is most popular after Sanchez at this point in time. Sema is also a midfielder, but he played a lot of games, had 9 attacking returns, which is not enough when you consider the 41 games that he played. And at 5.5 million, I think there's a better option in João Pedro and Sarr. Zinkanagal, he seems to be impressive. He only started 9 games, got 1 goal and 5 assists. He was their highest assister in the season, but he only got 6 attacking returns. So, but he only started 9 games and got those attacking returns. So that's why I think he could be another shock at 5.5 million. There is also Kiko Femina. I think you remember him in the Premier League. He made 4 assists last season. So if Watford could be a very strong defensive team, I think their defense could be interesting. They also have some new signings, like you can see there.
Danny Rose.
Yeah.
And Louisa.
Louisa
I think, yeah.
Yeah, Louisa from Nan and Joshua King. They also signed Joshua King, but Joshua King had a terrible season to remember. Terrible season, like with
at Everton as well. So
he went to Everton. He didn't score or assisted last season. So I don't know. Maybe.
But it depends. People like strikers like King, they really rely on consistency. Like I think for any striker you need consistency. If you play more games, you start contributing, start scoring, you get more confident, and then your numbers improve.
Yeah.
So
right.
if he is guaranteed to start, because Dini is also an ever present. He's a leader. He's a talisman in the team.
Yeah, but Dini is old now, so he don't play a lot of games now.
If that's the case, then fine. Maybe King might be the striker. But still, if Dini is injured and is available to play, I think he's gonna be the one to start ahead of King. Yeah. Definitely. But I think him being in Watford is like not as much compared to Everton.
Yeah.
Watford is like, it's not as big of a team like Everton. No offense, but still he might feel more confident playing for Watford or getting the chances for Watford. I really hope that he gets a good season.
Yeah.
With Watford.
So too.
Okay, so and last but not the least, Brentford. This is the guy that everybody has been talking about.
Yeah, well,
Tony.
Because I think he broke the record in the championship in terms of goals or something, with 31 goals last season, 10 assists. Of course, Oli Watkins came from Brentford too, and joined Villa last season, and then they replaced Oli Watkins with Tony. Watkins, I think he scored 27 goals that season in the championship for Brentford, and then Tony come on top that with 31 goals and 10 assists. Yeah, at 6.5 million, is a bit expensive for a player coming from the championship, because usually the striker start at 5 million or 6 million or 5.5 million in the case of Bamford last season, 6 million in the case of Watkins last season.
Watkins, yeah.
So yeah, it is a bit expensive, but I think he's worth it because he's kind of the talisman in this team. Like I say, he's the one. If they have a goal, he's either scoring the goal
Involved,
or assisting the goal. So, and like I say, Brentford is a team that is gonna attack. They're gonna play an attacking football. They're gonna try and play an attacking football similar to what Leeds did last season. So maybe that is a reason why we should be targeting him as the talisman of the team. Boemo too, he has a lot of rave dribble. I understand that when they play as like two strikers, Boemo is the partner for Tone. So Boemo could be one of the out of position players that we could have this season. At 5.5 million midfielder, I think he could be a very very good assist. He had 18 attacking returns last season in the championship. Sergio Canos, he's also an attacking player. I know him from his time at Liverpool. He was at the Liverpool Academy, and then he moved to into the championship. Now he's doing some great things. He's a Spanish young. He's no more young now. He's maybe 24, 25. So, but he has a good season too with nine goals and 8 assists. Their goalkeeper Raya, he also is not a bad keeper. He had 16 clean sheets, but compared to the other promoted teams, I think he is the least impressive when it comes to goals, clean sheets and save ratio. Both Krul and Bachmann had a better clean sheet and a better save percentage. Their most impressive defender is Rico Henry. He had a very good. He's a defender, so at 4.5 million, he seems to be the more interesting one there, I think.
Yeah, and the new signings. Can you just touch up on that? Onyeka, midfielder.
Yeah, Onyeka
from Middlesbrough.
No, from Midtjylland of Denmark.
Midtjylland. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he joined from Midtjylland. He is a midfielder with 3 goals and 2 assists. I think I watched him play. I think Liverpool had a game with Midtjylland sometime not long ago in Champions League or something like that. And then that's when I saw him. And they also signed a player from Celtic, Aja. He played 35 games last season in the Scottish League with 2 goals and 3 assists. Nothing spectacular. I think looking at them, I think Boemo and Tone.
Yeah, they're the outright.
They're the outright favorite to target. Maybe Canos to some level. The attacking players are the players to target, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think this, because Brentford were the team that everybody was looking to have last season. You remember they almost were promoted last season, but they didn't make it. Yeah, and then I think what's this guy's name that went to Aston Villa as well?
Ollie Watkins.
Not Ollie Watkins, another player. West Ham. Ben Rahma. Yes. Yeah. So I remember when everybody was doing their compilation new teams for Brentford, you were expecting that they will be there. Watkins also, like you said. But I think this is a different team. They have new talisman or new players that are also impressive as well. So I think we should look forward to them. To be honest, I never had any idea about Tony, but obviously from the way people were talking him up, I had to put him in my team because at 6.5 with 31 goals, I don't think it gets better than that, even though he's from the championship.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Anything else we need to add? Because it's been a very informative episode, man. Honestly, I think I also needed to take notes as well.
Well, yeah, I think it's nice because the season is getting closer. Last time was, I think if you haven't watched it, our previous episode was about the teams currently in the Premier League, the teams that did not get really, like the 17 other teams that stayed in the Premier League, their numbers last season, how they did. If you didn't watch it, please go and watch that one or listen to that pod. And this one we were focusing on the teams the new players, try to take a different dimension when it comes to like discussing, because all the other players we basically know what they are all about. All the other teams we know what they are about. So we try to see what we can pick on from the promoted teams, Brentford, Watford, and Norwich, and also the new managers, what to expect from them. So guys, this is it for you guys.
Yeah, so hopefully we are all waiting for the season to start. We can't wait. It's been 2 weeks. Just we have 2 weeks more to go, and then all the madness will be unleashed, and we can can start getting gray hairs again. So
Absolutely, yeah.
we can't wait, man. So yeah, thanks guys for listening. As always, we are the Kotu Classic FPL podcast, and we catch you guys on the next one.